Hello and welcome to another PlanetDestiny exotic weapon review. This is Patrick Casey, otherwise known as Holtzman, and today we'll be taking a look at the new and improved Thorn. With the most recent update, Thorn has been changed into something that really feels worthy of the long bounty you have to do to obtain it. Here's what they changed in short. The stability was upped by a very large amount and now starts at 41. The reload speed, one of the worst things about the older version, was also up to 43. Finally, the magazine size was upgraded to 9 from 6. Now, how do all these changes affect Thorn? Well, let's jump into the review. Here's some of the good things. The best thing they did to this gun was upgrade the stability. Thorn is tied for last word with the highest fire rate among exotic hand cannons, but you simply just couldn't take advantage of that fact due to Thorn's very low stability at the start, even if you chose the perfect balanced upgrade. Now with the stability increased, you have the option of going with perfect balance or send it. It's so much easier to use this weapon in the closer ranges now, and you no longer are forced into only long range encounters, although that option still is there if you're a fan of that playstyle. If you do like the longer range style, then you'll still be able to enjoy the increased stability and use the Send It perk. The increase to the mag size means you can be a little bit more free with your shots as well. I find though that I'm not taking full advantage of the final round perk now, since the increased mag size means I'm just going to be reloading more than I can actually get to the final round perk before I kill someone. This isn't anything against the weapon, and you'll still use the perk, just a little bit less often than before. The reload speed has also been increased from 3.75 seconds to 3 seconds. While it's still kind of a slow reload speed, a pair of hand cannon reload gauntlets or reload speed buff like Chains of Woe will easily make the weapon easier to use in both PvP and PvE. Speaking of PvE buffs, the Mark of the Devourer was buffed for just PvE. For example, before the patch, the dot would do 22 damage per tick on a level 28 enemy. After the patch, it now does 86 damage per tick on a level 28 enemy. The dot really only used to be useful for keeping an enemy's shield down, so this is just a massive improvement. Add in the over penetration from this perk, and this gun does some pretty serious work in the strikes and in the raid. While it won't be the exotic of choice for me, this is still a very viable choice if you want an exotic hand cannon in PvE. Now, is it better than Hawkmoon? I still think Hawkmoon is better for single target fights, but in large group encounters, I think Thorn kind of outweighs it now. The final PvE buff was an increase in its total ammo capacity. It will now hold a total of 77 rounds, leaving you with a total of 8.5 reloads if you empty the clip every time. Couple this with an armor piece that increases hand cannon ammo capacity, and it makes for a much easier time in PvE instead of scrambling around for ammo like you were before. Now here's some of the bad things. The fixes Bungie made have pretty much eliminated all the previous bad things about the weapon, so this is great. The only glaringly bad thing that really sticks out now is that the dot from Mark of the Devourer doesn't afresh upon every single shot. You still have to wait for it to tick 4 times and then you can reapply it. This becomes frustrating when battling enemies with overshields, since the reload time is still just long enough for a shield to regenerate between reloads if your last shot didn't apply the dot. And that's really all that's bad about the weapon now. It's an extremely solid weapon and very fun to use. Cosmetic wise, this weapon still looks and sounds the way it did before. It's just gnarly. The recognizable sound now brings a much more foreboding tone in PvP. If you hear it go off, you really want that wielder to be on your side. Let's take a look at some of these upgrades. I'm going to be showing how the recoil works on this weapon with each of these first muzzle upgrades as well. This first upgrade, Accurize Ballistics. More range and impact, increased recoil. It's just a really well balanced one, but I find that I soon replace it. Field Choke is more range and impact, and it's increased recoil. I really don't like this one. The recoil it's just worse, and for such a small range boost. Aggressive Ballistics is one worth taking if you're really into high stability. You also gain a little bit of impact from it. It reduces your range slightly, but not enough that really affects it in PvP. I find that Aggressive Ballistics is really good for PvP, and then going with something along the lines of like Field Choke or Accurize Ballistics for PvE will be a little bit better. The final round perk, the last round in a magazine, will deal bonus damage. Snapshot. Aiming this weapon is incredibly fast. Not a huge fan of this one because aiming it's already pretty quick, and mainly because the other two perks in this tree just outclass it completely. The Send It perk will increase range and accuracy. I really like this for those types of players that like to hold back in PvP a little bit. You can effectively snipe people with this, and now that you have 9 rounds and more stability, it's just an even easier time if that was your playstyle before. Now personally, I chose Perfect Balance. This gun has a very high rate of fire, and getting a higher stability will allow me to exploit that a little bit more. For my playstyle, which is more of a close mid-range type play, really aggressive, this seems to work a lot more for me. So depending on your playstyle for PvP and PvE, you're generally going to be trading out for Send It or Perfect Balance. Mark of the Devourer. Rounds pierce targets and cause lingering damage over time. This is just insanely good now. In PvE, it does massive damage. In PvP, it's pretty much unchanged, but mainly I love it for the PvE changes. It really feels like this is a very powerful perk that makes the gun. And then we have our 4 damage upgrades. Here's some stats for PvE. A level 28 enemy will die in 1 headshot, or 1 to 2 body shots depending on their total health, plus how much you allow the dot to tick. It'll take about 4 or 5 headshots for a tier 2 enemy at level 28. Again, it depends on how long you let the dot tick between shots. Body shots will surprisingly be at about 5 or 6, depending on how long you wait for the dot to tick as well. It hits pretty hard for just body shots. In PvP, the stats have been returned to their unnerfed state. Body shots will be for 56, headshots for 84. The last round headshot does 112 damage, so if you hit someone that's already kinda low with the last round, chances are they are going to die. This thing does a lot of damage. In conclusion, the updates to Thorn brought a much needed facelift to it. This gun's quest is now very worth the frustration and can finally be used by many different playstyles in both PvE and PvP. It just feels so much better to use, and it's just fun. It's very worth it to fully upgrade this weapon. I hope you guys are enjoying the Thorn buffs just as much as me. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.
So badly for us to add new space to the vault because it is a constant piece of feedback. Players want to hold on to their stuff. I know that our team is talking about it. How and when exactly it'll manifest and in what way, I can't reveal at this time, but I can tell you that that kernel of feedback has been received. People want to be collectors.